Hello everyone, welcome to Curiosity, the science show, and this one is for the month of September 2023. This is episode number 47. I'm talking to you from my lab here in Central University of Punjab. This lab is called Molecular Systematics Lab, and so we are working all this taxonomy works in this lab, and this is the first time I'm featuring this lab in the Curiosity. As you can see that all kinds of equipments and reagent bottles that I have 8 PhD students, and they are working on various aspects of the systematics, especially on the marine algae, the seaweeds, right? So we integrate DNA based molecular systematics approach for the taxonomy. Okay, right. So with this introduction, let us see that what really moved the world of sciences in the last month, right? And this one is for the September. As usually we start with the etymology of September. So September is coming from the Latin septem, right? That means number 7, seventh month of the year during the BC time, when the length of the year used to be just 10 months long. Well, right now we are using Gregorian calendar system, and 2 more months have been added, and so that is the way that this the September from the 7. Okay, and as per the florography, this month is of aster, the flower, right? Aster and morning glory and forget me not. 3 flowers have been attributed for September. Now let us actually quickly go through the last month's science related news. Of course, the number 1 news is here in India. We have a very successful launch of Chandrayaan-3, soft landing in the lunar near South Pole, and with that India became the first ever country in the world to land in the lunar South Pole region, and and also 4th country till date who ever able to land on the moon, the soft landing, after the United States, Russia and China, right? So we have become 4th ever land on the moon. So that is amazing, isn't it? This happened on August 23rd, and the Union government has declared that this day, the August 23rd, is going to celebrate as National Space Day from next year onwards, right? National Space Day. And SpaceX, privatization is everywhere, right? The SpaceX of this Elon Musk and their Falcon rocket, very powerful rocket, has sent 4 astronauts to the International Space Station last month. So that is very interesting. The private venture is sending astronauts into the ISS, and these astronauts are from NASA, then ESA, that is European Space Agency, then JAXA, that is Japanese Space Agency, and also the Russian cosmonauts, right? So the 4 people have gone to the ISS. And not so good story here in India. We have torrential rains with lots of landslide happening right now in the Himachal as well as in Uttarakhand, with more than 240 deaths. It's really catastrophic. And a new paper argues that this has something to do with the global warming. A link is in the show notes of this video. Please check it out, right? And very interestingly, there is a new discovery happened last month, few weeks back. This one is about a vegetarian dinosaur. Unfortunately, this news I haven't seen anywhere in Indian media reporting it. I saw this one in the New York Times science section, and this particular discovery that the dinosaur is called Pterosaurus indicus. It is all Indian team without any international collaboration. They discovered it. It's fantastic, isn't it? And the discovery is coming from Thar Desert in Rajasthan, very near to the place where I'm talking to you from, in Bathinda in Punjab, right? And this particular vegetarian plant-eating dinosaur has been dated 167 million years ago. That's amazing, isn't it? You might know about cancer cell lines, right? One of the very famous cell line where we biologists work on is called HeLa cell line, Henrietta Lacks. This lady has been a black woman, American black woman, and without even asking her breast tissues were removed to use it as HeLa cell line. It's a breast cancer cell line everyone uses these days, but it's unethical practice, right? The company did that removal without even getting this informed consent. Prior informed consent is nowadays very, very important before getting these tissues, right? And then the family of this Henrietta Lacks appealed. They filed a case in the court, and then they finally settled for undisclosed amount. That happened last week. And you might know about a common wisdom about 10,000 steps a day. Now that association have recently changed the guideline to close to 4,000 is well enough to see, to see substantial reduction in the risk of cardiovascular disease. That is amazing, isn't it? For the mortality risk, for all cause mortality risk is around 5,000 steps per day, and of course if you walk more, the risk is tremendously getting reduced. And another news from the last month is the Minor Planet. It's an asteroid named after an Indian man. First time ever, an Indian person has been named and recognized by the International Astronomical Union, right? And this is named after Ashwin Shekhar, and he is basically a amateur skywatcher from Kerala, and so he is basically it is a citizen science initiative, right? The citizen science is really powerful. So he found this asteroid and he named after it. And so IAU recognized this venture. So by the way, now Ashwin Shekhar is based at Paris Observatory in France. And another story is the massive die-off of Antarctic penguin, the emperor penguin, already recognized as endangered by the red list of IUCN, and more than 10,000 deaths because of the Antarctic ice sheet collapse, and the warming of the Antarctic continent is responsible for this death, and of course the shrinkage of the the penguin population, which are featured so many times in this channel, the link with microplastics, and also the endocrine disrupting chemicals, EDCs, that that actually plays a role in imparting the infertility in the penguins. And so mass exodus of scientists. Nowadays the scientists are getting away from the Twitter. Nowadays it's called X, isn't it? So the Twitter. So 50,000 scientists have recently went away from X because of the Elon Musk anti-environmental the policies. That is really alarming. And coming to obituary, it's W. Jason Morgan, 87 years old, from Princeton University. He is the person who proposed the idea of plate tectonics, the theory of plate tectonic, friends. The most important theory in geology as of now, isn't it? Erstwhile the theory used to be continental drift of Alfred Wegener, the German scientist. And then he refined the theory to make it as a plate tectonic. It's not just the continent. One continent could be made up of several plates, tectonic plates, right? So so he served his entire career at the Princeton University in New York. So now coming to the next section of the curiosities amongst discoveries. There is a new study by the Europe. It's a European study, found that it's a very large number of studies, large sample study, found that 90% of the so-called eco-friendly paper straws contain something called forever chemical. Forever chemical is that it's very difficult to remove it, and it causes the environmental catastrophe. So the paper straws are not really eco-friendly. That is what this paper argues. So examples of the forever chemicals are PFOA, that is perfluorooctanoic acid, and PFOS, perfluorooctanoic sulfuric acid, sulfate, isn't it? So that's alarming study. Second is that waste coffee grounds. So if you love coffee like how I do, there are a lot of waste coffee grains, right? This ground, right, the coffee ground, is an excellent additive in concrete making. It increases the concrete strength by 30%. That is what the new studies say. Great, right? It's stronger than sand additive in the concrete. Amazing. Third is that microplastics cause behavioral changes in the mice. It's an alarming story. The microplastics comes again and again. One of the old episodes of the Curiosity of this year 2023, we featured that we inhale the credit card. Can you believe it? One credit card sized microplastic pieces every week. So each week you are inhaling this one credit card sized microplastic. So there is a huge impact on it. Now this new paper says that there are behavioral changes in the mice. 18 years after stroke, a paralyzed woman speaks again thanks to the wonders of science. So that's very, very interesting. It's about the brain transcription, so brain computer interface, right? It's not that literally the woman is speaking, but whatever is coming to her mind whenever she tries to speak something, this brain computer interface gives that into the proper words. And whenever she want to move her face, of course you cannot move it physically, the avatar in the computer can move it. Amazing, isn't it? The science does wonders, friends. Fifth story, better parental supervision in the children in the early adolescence was associated with higher household incomes of the child aged until at the 35. So when the child becomes 35, when you look at the median income, is so much better when their adolescence is spent with with the better adult supervision, the parental supervision. So the studies say $14,000 is what it makes a difference per year. That is substantial gains, Next story, people who have a natural preference for staying up late, the so-called night owls, right? When you compare with the morning larks, the night owls tend to have poorer health habits, including sleep habits, which in turn is associated with the reduced wages according to the research. Again, something to do with the wage. So if you are a night owl, it's time to rethink the chronology. Is it possible for you to reset it? Very interesting, right? Seventh story is about dogs. So dogs can age healthier by socializing with humans and other pets. Very interesting. Socialization is always linked with the longevity. Multitude of studies says that human beings too, those who have a close-knit social circle, especially in the blue zones, that is one reason why these blue zones, some areas in the world map which have ridiculously high longevity, life expectancy, for example Okinawa in Japan, and some of these Caribbean islands, and yes, so Italy, right, some parts of the Italy, yes. So socialization is very important, and for the dogs it is not just the other dog socialization, even with human beings or other pets. Very interesting. Eighth story, adding bananas into the smoothies led to 84% lower levels of flavonoids. So that is very interesting because there is a flavonoid oxidase enzyme present in the banana as well as in apple. So it's also not good if you mix apple with other smoothies. Banana alone is okay. Banana with the milk, the smoothie is fine. The problem comes here if you mix banana with, for example, berries, strawberry and milk if you add in. So banana do contain this oxidase, flavonoid oxidase, that oxidizes the flavonoids from other fruits to make it nutritionally less diverse, right, less rich. So that's very, very interesting. And the same enzyme is responsible for the blackening of peeled bananas and cut apples. It changes the color, right, darkens. That is all because of the same enzymes. Researchers successfully transferred longevity genes from naked mole rats into the mice. So naked mole rat is very, very interesting creature. We featured this so many times in Curiosity. It is naked because it doesn't have any fur, and naked mole rat is an outlier in terms of longevity. The median life expectancy is approximately 36 years. Usual mice, it's around 25-26 years. It lives really long, and also it never gets cancer. And why the naked mole rats never get cancer, it's a mystery. And also it can survive without oxygen. That's very interesting, right? Not forever, but still the minutes that it can survive in oxygen is the longest among all mammals. So it's an amazing organism, naked mole rat. And now they shifted the gene responsible for the longevity to the mice, and the study found the mice now extends the longevity. Very, very interesting for our own longevity research, isn't it? Fantastic. Now, 10th story is that the dirty air. There are 3 stories about the dirty air, right? Dirty air is the biggest external threat to the human health, worse than tobacco or alcohol. That is what the major study finds. But not many people openly talks about the problems of this dirty air, right? And the government also don't spend so much money around the world, right? If you compare that with the money spent for tobacco and alcohol, so air purification and also sensitization of the people in the world not to pollute the air that we breathe, it's very, very essential now. Second story about the air is that analysis using data from more than 100 countries spanning nearly 2 decades indicates that increased air pollution is linked with rising antibiotic resistance. Very interesting link, air pollution with antibiotic resistance. So as air pollution increases, so as antibiotic resistance in those areas which are worst affected. Very interesting story, isn't it? Yes, so the third one is that, of course, the antibiotic resistance is linked with declining air quality. Another study, it's very, very interesting, isn't it? The air quality and antibiotic resistance, how these two are interlinked. 11th story is that the boarding school students get 40 minutes more sleep in most of the nights than the day student. That's very interesting. The students who are staying in the hostel, who are in the boarding school, they sleep better. The reason is that there is a discipline in it. So there is there are times that the boarding school switch off the lights, for example, and you are forced to sleep. So that discipline brings in more regular sleep times, and that has a knock-on effect on every aspect of the children, including their academic performance. I really like this story, so it's one of the very important finding, the importance of discipline in young adults. Now, 12th story is about hookworms. Till date we thought like it's really nasty, it's an intestine, it's a problem, right? It's a pest. We need to get rid of the hookworms. Now the study says that hookworms, of course, these are not normal hookworms, but these are lab formed hookworms, the good hookworms, right? So if you introduce these worms into the intestine, so it's a it's a human trial, successfully prevent type 2 diabetes. Very interesting, right? The hookworms prevent type 2 diabetes in human beings. I was so shocked to read this story published last month. 13th story is about blue light blocking lenses. So many lenses are in the market that say that they advertise that it blocks the blue light, and blue light we know already that interferes with our sleep pattern. So if you block this blue light, then chances are high that you can sleep better, especially in the evening onwards. Exposure to blue light is linked with lower sleep quality. And now there are companies that comes with this blue light blocking lenses. One of the very famous companies, Gunnar, right? And also Zeiss and all these companies, the lens makers now have this blue light blocking lenses. And now the story says that the latest study says that these glasses are not effective at all. Very interesting. It doesn't even help with the eye strain or with the sleep quality. That's very, very interesting study, right? That's useless. That is what the study concludes. Interesting. 14th story is that the new research uncovered evidence that thymus is critical for adult health and for preventing cancer. So thymus is a small gland right here in the chest. And especially till date we thought that the thymus is like a useless gland, and especially if you have the heart operation, the thoracotomy, right, where the chest bone has to be opened, right? So that kind of surgery, usually they get rid of this thymus gland for easy access to the human heart. But now this new study says this thymus gland is very, very important for cancer prevention. So those people, those patients whom the thymus gland has been removed, face the cancer risk a lot more. That's alarming, isn't it? So by the way, the thymus gland is where the T lymphocytes mature. There are two kinds of white blood cell, right? B and T. So T lymphocyte, the name T, the abbreviation stands for thymus. So it is in the thymus gland that the T lymphocytes matures. So the T lymphocyte is very, very important for cell mediated immunity, and also of course the lymphocytes do comes in fighting the cancer cells in early stages. So maybe that is one reason why this is very interesting. This study comes in picture. So by the way, you can check out our Facebook group, the Young Academy of India Facebook group, YI group. Link is in the show notes. For as and when the new story comes out, we have a group of volunteers who shares these very interesting stories, the curiosity driven stories we keep on sharing. And also all these the papers that we discussed, if you want to read the original paper published last month, you can check the show notes of this video and click on the blog where you can see all these papers. Okay, so that is what we do it. Now coming to the next section is the observances, science related, and skywatch. I really love sky watching, right? What are the observances to be expected in the month of September? September, friends, is month of equinox, September equinox, right? We are looking forward to it, the equinox. So 1st of September is Aurigid meteor shower. So September is kind of less active in terms of sky watching compared with August. So August was full of events, right? September is good for planetary watching, right? And also a little bit of the meteor shower, though unmatchable with Perseids meteor shower happened last month, that is in August, right? So first is Aurigid meteor shower, second is the launch of Aditya L1. ISRO is launching another very important satellite, scheduled on 2nd. I hope it goes well, and this one is to study sun, right? And it doesn't go to the sun all the way. It goes to somewhere in between Earth and Moon. There is a place called L1, Lagrange point 1. So Earth has 5 such Lagrange points. Basically these points are the points where two big gravitational bodies cancels out the gravity, right? So Lagrange point 1 is in between Moon and Earth. It's kind of closer to the Moon, while there is another second Lagrange point, L2, is the same line of Earth Moon, but it's the other side of the Moon. Okay, so Lagrange 2 is a place where we have the James Webb Space Telescope is in, right? So Lagrange point 1 is, of course, like you can say it is orbiting around the Earth, but again it is something like a celestial body, right? This Aditya L1 is now going to orbit around the Sun from that L1, though there is technically it is still the orbit of the Earth. Very interesting, isn't it? 5th is Moon Jupiter conjunction. 7th is Clean Air for Blue Skies Day. This episode and so many episodes of the Curiosity, we highlight the importance of the clean air, right? Air pollution is catastrophic, and also the blue skies. Of course, the blue sky is an indicative of the clean air. 8th is Literacy Day. 9th is protection of educational institutions from attack. That's very interesting, right? The UN International Day for Protect Education from Attack. Yes. Epsilon Perseid meteor shower is also on 9th, right? 15th is Democracy Day, UN Democracy Day. 16th is Ozone Layer Day. And 18th is the best day to watch Venus throughout the year. The best day, right? If you want to photograph Venus, this is the day for you, 18th. And 19th, the next day, is the best day of the year to photograph Neptune. So by the way, recently Neptune, the atmosphere of the Neptune completely gone. So scientists are still arguing why this happened. So you can photograph. So Neptune is the farthest, of course, not no more the Pluto, right? Pluto demolition day happened in the month of August, isn't it? Pluto has been demoted almost 17 years ago. So now the farthest is Neptune. 21st is Peace Day. 23rd is Sign Language Day, and also 23rd is September equinox, friends. So that day is the day and night is equal. And see, basically that equinox, the September equinox on 23rd is the first day of autumn. So it is from this September equinox onwards is the autumn starting. Okay, so yes, 23rd is also Mercury, the best day to watch the Mercury, right? So if you want to photograph the Mercury, 23rd is the best day for it. 26th is the total elimination of the nuclear weapons. It's a UN day. And 27th is Moon Saturn conjunction. Same frame, you will get Moon and Saturn. 28th is Universal Access to Information. Here in India we have Right to Information Act, RTI Act, but not all the countries have variants of this act. So UN has declared the importance of this, the access to the information. Everyone's has got right to access the information, irrespective of, the socio-economic background, right? And that is why this particular celebration perfectly syncs in lines with open access policy, open access publication also, right? 29th is awareness of food loss and waste, food waste. And also it is the last super moon of 2023. It's called harvest moon. In the month of August, last month, we had 2 super moon, while in September it's going to be the last super moon of 2023. And 30th is Translation Day, UN International Day for Translation. Coming to the last session of the curiosity is the opportunities for the students and young scientists alike, right? So Swiss government PhD scheme is open now. So many government PhD schemes are there, right? So myself is an alumni of MEXT scheme, right? So it's a Japanese government scholarship scheme. So right now this scheme is open now. It's a Swiss government PhD scheme, as well as for the postdoc. So if you have recently been awarded with the PhD for in the last 5 years, you can apply for it. Right, 10th November is the last day. American Association for University Women Scholarship. If you are a woman, you can apply for it. 15th November is the deadline, and this scholarship is for PhD as well as for postdoc. Irrespective of your nationality, you can apply for this prestigious scholarship. Okay, Meta Global Link 12 weeks internship in Canada is open now for for the PhD students. So it is a research internship, fully paid research internship for going anywhere in Canada, right? 21st September is the deadline for this scholarship. Marie Curie postdoc fellowship, again it's open, and 30th September, the end of this month, is the deadline for this Marie Curie. Australia India student exchange program is open for the PhD and master's student. Okay, so the deadline is 13th October, and of course there are so many JRF calls and project positions are open. I keep on sharing these in the Facebook group. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing to that group for keeping up to date with all these calls. And that's it for the month of September. I will see you soon with another episode in the month of October. Until then, take care of yourself, and if you can, someone else too. Goodbye.